Russia continued to lose its army, particularly its tanks, and its military strength during the war with Ukraine. According to one report, Russia lost over 11,000 tanks during the war with Ukraine. At least 250,000 soldiers have been confirmed dead, with an estimated 950,000 casualties to date, more than the population of Iceland. Between September 26th and 27th, Russia lost over 970 soldiers in just one day. Today, we compiled footage of the destruction of Russian tanks and personnel and revealed how Ukraine, a small nation, managed to win against one of the world's largest armies. Despite launching repeated offensives, Russian forces rarely achieve success. On the contrary, most end in disaster. Here's a clear example of their failed offensive. Russian commanders prepared a new attempt to break through the Ukrainian defensive lines in the Donetsk region. The first attack waves consisted of 3 armored personnel carriers and 2 tanks, moving in tight formation with the aim of forcing a breakout. Ukrainian reconnaissance teams had already spotted the movement and were closely monitoring it. A Javelin missile was fired at the convoy, narrowly missing its target. The lead tank and armored personnel carrier managed to avoid the hidden mines and move forward. However, trouble soon struck the second pair. One tank struck a massive mine, setting off a fiery explosion that shook the ground. Realizing the growing danger, the crew of the stricken tank and its accompanying armored personnel carrier, desperately fleeing on foot, quickly abandoned their vehicles. Some soldiers scattered to nearby abandoned houses, while others sought cover in the woods. Meanwhile, the lead tank, which had moved slightly forward, decided to retreat after seeing the destruction behind it. As it retreated to safety, this tank ran directly over another mine, which detonated just in front of the already destroyed wreckage. The explosion shattered and damaged the vehicle. Now, only one armored personnel carrier remained in the fray. Surrounded by burning debris and alone, the crew hesitated, unsure of what to do. Something was waiting for them next. The last armored personnel carrier somehow managed to escape the scene, but not very far. While trying to take cover, it hit a hidden mine. The explosion was massive. The armored personnel carrier was likely carrying ammunition. Here's another angle that shows just how powerful the blast was. And what about the soldiers it was carrying? A closer look at the footage shows some dying instantly, while others were left burning on the ground. The scene showed full extent of destruction. In this failed attack, Russia lost 2 armored personnel carriers and 2 tanks, possibly 2 ADS. At least 7 soldiers died on the spot, while more than 10 formed men, abandoning their vehicles. Russian soldiers who had escaped the previous attack tried to hide in a nearby wooded area, using natural cover to stay outside. However, they were unaware that some Ukrainian soldiers had swept sabotaging the station's continued. They waited patiently while the Russians came. The Ukrainians launched a sudden surprise. The firefight was brief because most of the Russian soldiers abandoned their vehicles as they fled their vehicles. Within minutes, 8 soldiers were shot down. After the firefight, the Ukrainian soldiers quickly retreated to their positions to avoid detection and protect themselves. And so, the first phase of the Russian offensive ended in complete failure. Now we move on to the second wave of the offensive, in which Russia sent 7 army vehicles, mostly with transport personnel. And this time, Ukraine's 82nd Airborne Brigade counterattacked, along with U.S. supply M1 Striker armored personnel carriers and British Challenger 2 tanks. During the firefight, the Russian forces attempted to use FPV drones against the Ukrainian defenses. The Ukrainian soldiers spotted them and managed to shoot down a few before they could. The firefight was fierce, both sides fighting for over 2 hours in the attack ultimately collapsed. Several Russian vehicles were destroyed. Dozens of soldiers were neutralized. More than 20 were subsequently captured alive by Ukrainian troops. Another costly failure for Russia and another staunch
Заходили
Ukrainian
постепенно,
defense. Up to this
накапливали
point, Russia has
силы,
lost 8 armed
и
vehicles,
отрабатывали
including tanks and more than 30 soldiers, most of whom were captured by Ukraine. But what happened next will be even worse for Russia, because when the second wave arrived, they didn't realize they were advancing into a pre-prepared kill zone. Ukrainian engineers had planted anti-tank mines along their approach routes. These weren't random mines. They don't waste resources on reckless attacks. Instead, they force Russia to attack kill zone where even most advanced T-90 tanks, or BMPs, unmanned aerial vehicles, stand little chance. That's it. Before moving on to the next attack, take a minute to hit the like button and subscribe. This really helps us keep going. Now, back to the battlefield. In another footage released by the Ukrainian ATGM team, a hidden Russian position was detected near the Avdiivka area. An anti-tank guided missile was launched. The footage clearly shows a missile flying and hitting the target precisely. Yes, Papa. Yes. Yes, Papa. The Russian soldiers hiding at that point were forced to come out, and their movements were easily tracked using night vision. Another anti-tank guided missile was fired to finish them off. Yes, it hit the position directly. The Russian bunker was destroyed, leaving the soldiers inside with no chance of defending their positions. Here's another moment when a Ukrainian 115 OMR tank engaged two Russian armored personnel carriers. The armored personnel carriers were moving quickly when the first one was hit. With direct fire from the Ukrainian tank, the tanks directly engulfing the flames. Let's look at it from another perspective. Distance is close. The Ukrainian tank is hiding right in front of them. The armored personnel carriers were moving quickly. The first one came under fire. The Ukrainian tank fired once, hitting in the front, and then fired a second shot, hitting the armored personnel carrier directly in the head. With these two hits, the first armored personnel carrier was completely destroyed and engulfed in flames. The second armored personnel carrier attempted to flee the area, but also ran over a mine. It was heavily damaged in the explosion, but still tried to move forward. Shortly after, a guided anti-tank missile hit the tank with a powerful blast, but the armored personnel carrier continued to crawl. Finally, the Ukrainian tank fired another shot, this time a direct hit, destroying the vehicle on the spot. Of the 131 brigades in the Ukrainian army, the SB unit stands out as one of the strongest and most effective. Newly released footage showcases the unit's devastating impact on the battlefield. The clips reveal a long list of Russian equipment and personnel destroyed, including approximately 300 soldiers, 19 tanks, 33 armored personnel carriers, 85 trucks, and 33 ammunition depots captured during Operation 85. The video shows attacks where FPV drones, missiles, and artillery work together to crush Russian positions. Each clip highlights the precision of their attacks, from tanks ablaze to ammunition depots detonating with massive secondary explosions. The footage is not only a testament to their success, but also a demonstration of how Ukrainian forces are adapting to modern technology, particularly the widespread use of FPV drones. But that's not all. Earlier this year, the SB unit released another series of footage showing even more destruction. In this round, they managed to quickly destroy 18 additional tanks, 24 APCs, 36 artillery systems, for air defense systems, for ammunition depots, and even 2 APCs. These were not isolated attacks. This was a coordinated effort executed with precision and consistency across multiple battlefields. What makes these clips stand out is not just the number of targets destroyed, but the manner in which they were neutralized. FPV UAVs dive directly onto tanks and armored personnel carriers and detonate with pinpoint accuracy. Artillery systems are destroyed before they can fire, and ammunition depots explode in massive explosions, sending shockwaves across the front lines.